many fish are on this.
Oh, God. Oh, God, giant.
All right, welcome back. Got an exciting episode for you guys today. I'm going to finish out that Big Bass Tour event. This is day 2. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of B-roll, not a bunch of fancy camera stuff. We're going to jump right into the action, have some fish catches and things. But there's one of these fish catches y'all pay attention to. We got a fish that was hooked bad, and we did some things with that. We're going to talk about that at the end, as well as some of the techniques that we were using that helped us be more successful and kind of our mindset during this tournament and what allowed us to cut some checks, and actually we ended up throwing back some fish that would have cut more checks. But we'll talk more about that at the end. Y'all stay tuned. Let's get right into it.
Nice one. Now we're talking.
I'm sorry, girl.
I want to put her in a well for a bit just to see. We might end up having to take her home for dinner. Just see. I've got some soda in my cooler there. We can throw some of that in there with her.
Coke would help.
Yeah. She sounds angry. I got Mountain Dew. I think she'll be fine, but we just better safe than sorry. A lot of times when you hook them in the tongue like that, they show right away if it's going to be a problem.
That's a big one.
That's a big
Reaper.
That's a reaper, baby.
There was no question about that when she sucked it.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yeah. You're like. Broke it off? No, I'm telling you, it's a Palomar knot. It's got to be this at the freaking leader knot, dude. God, it's killing me. I never have this kind of crap.
This is getting to be a regular occurrence when you're in my boat.
I'm telling you, dude. That was Scott's, the little hogtie, dude. It just stopped. She had hold of it. That pisses me off. That's literally the first leader I've ever broken. I've never broken one at the leader knot before. I've been like religiously checking everything too. That's the most annoying part. Okay.
Big marsh down. You could get a dozer in there and clear a little pond out right there on the side.
Be game on.
Well, because guys can hunt all this. It's TVA property. You can put a pond up there on the property.
Yeah.
Tons of food in it, and let it sit all week, and nobody can hunt it but you.
Yeah.
We're not on a flyway, so it's like you're not. God, look. Oh, they're garbs. It's like something's snaking across there. Gotta be a big guard though doing that. Thought it was chasing.
It feels juicy down there.
When you start to deal with that caliper of fish that can be grown over there, it is fine.
Baby. She crushed it.
Fish we've caught.
That's the smallest fish that we've caught in here.
He's like, finally I can get up on that gravel and not get eaten.
I know.
Those guys picked off all the betties.
I'm telling you.
Like to see the hook being set though.
I won't weigh that one in. Oh yeah. Anytime you get a bite, it's a good thing.
I can see that. I honestly felt like I had a little pickup on that BassQuest too.
It was just like what we were talking about. I started reeling it in.
I sat on it.
Bonk. Not gonna do that. Golly, I'm taking the world from me. Oh, how'd I miss it? Yeah. Little jerk.
It might be turning on. We got a little ripple on the water.
We're in them.
We're in them. Still.
Uh-huh.
To make sure.
Kind of want to give them a different look and throw like a Carolina rig or something on them.
Oh god, that might be the ticket.
Drag it through there.
Whatever you want to do though, man. I mean, we can cover the, you know, it's hard to like want to get off of a spot like this after you've waxed them at, you know.
I know.
Can't imagine us fishing it out. I just feel like it, as many fish are on this.
Oh god. Oh god, giant. Giant. Well, that's a freaking big one.
Oh god.
Woo.
Stay on. Where you want me?
So where you at?
Not as big as
No. Dude, a freaking dandy though.
Dandy. Look at the belly on her. She might not even be spawned out.
No. Oh, dude.
Look at that. She's got eggs, dude. That fish has got eggs.
Yeah. What a dandy. You got a scale? I just want to get a weight on her for kicks and giggles. Dude, I thought she was way bigger than that.
She jumped.
Well, I couldn't move her. 6.5?
5'9".
5'9", you kidding me?
No length. Look how short she is.
She's just strong.
She's just strong and fat.
Dudes.
Look how short. I mean, she's 18 inches of fatness.
What a freaking dandy. All right, we're gonna put her back. That would be a check, but we're leaving them here today. Unless she's a
no
bit.
way I would let you take that fish out of here.
Dude, that's a beauty right there. That's gonna be when she gets bigger. Dude, I thought that was gonna be like an 8-pounder.
I saw I saw that belly roll up, dude. I was like, oh god.
Dude, I'm surprised how bad that fish just manhandled me. Because that's a 7-Eleven extra heavy flipping, like a mat punching setup, and I couldn't.
She had all that freaking pre-spawn strength to her.
I
Dude.
know. Look at my hands.
You had that pre-spawn beast mode going on.
Dude,
I mean,
seeing that makes me want to hit 2 places over there because no, it wasn't a fish. Man, there's one pile right there. Every time I've made that cast, I've got a fake bite halfway through. I think we should go hit like a couple spots and then, because this wind is only going to get stronger. In about an hour, come back, catch another 7 or 8 pounder real quick. 12 pounder, 15 pounder, whatever. 70s, 70, like actually 70 even to about 75, and then it cut off. As soon as it got 75, like the bite ended. But it was 3 days straight of just complete whack fest.
right here.
This bank, around this bank to the right. There's the other spot I wanted to hit down here, kind of like that secondary area over there. The other point, like these secondary points and stuff was loaded. Like you catch the big ones on the points, but you could go down the bank and catch 3s and 4s and 5s like nobody's business.
I feel like a big bass would be here unless I was seeing tons of
Yeah, exactly right. When it was going on, there was bluegill everywhere. Like half the time you were getting bit from a bluegill on every cast. It's just not like that, which is odd. That makes me think the bluegill are on bed.
Hey, you never know until you try.
Yeah.
Dad always told me. That's thing is a stupid question, only a stupid answer. And you never know until you try. And what was the other one? We wrote it, my sister put this whole book together of summeralisms, because he's got a million sayings.
I were your odds back then.
Can't never could do nothing.
Oh.
If the word can't ever came out of your mouth in our house, that was like worse than a cuss word. Shooting yourself in the foot before you even try.
Yeah. That's a good one. Completely true.
It is, yeah. You say you can, or you're automatically telling yourself you can't do it, you know?
I won't throw that worm. I just feel like if I'm going to catch the right kind of fish right now, it's going to be on that worm. I know. Summer fishing. Summer fishing. Oh, there's one. Oh, big one. Nope, not that big. You just got it swimming all over the place. And that thing felt good.
Hey, that's our limit.
Caught a fish.
Hey, that's our 5th, isn't it?
I think that is our fish.
Would have been hitting the scales, day 2.
Pow. Oh, sorry, buddy.
So we got a little over 15, maybe, right at 15?
Yeah. Yeah, I like your style, man. Look at that thing in the water.
Hell yeah.
Tell me they shouldn't eat that thing. That thing looks delicious.
All right, hope y'all enjoyed that footage there. First, I want to talk about kind of what our mindset was, what we were thinking of, and what we were doing to catch those fish. So this tournament took place kind of middle to end of May, and what's happening a lot of times during that period is the water temps are getting up there, and what we start to see is a shad spawn and a bluegill spawn. What we were targeting was the remnants of a shad spawn in the back of this bay. And so all through this bay, you can imagine this big flat, everything's kind of similar. It's got some grass, emergent vegetation, some hydrilla that's working its way up. But what we were doing is we were looking for something different. There was a whole lot of guys fishing in that bay there, and a lot of guys catching fish, but most of them were catching really small fish. I mean, we saw guys all around us, and that's why we were whispering a lot throughout this footage. But a lot of these guys, they're catching 2-pounders, 2.5s, maybe a couple 3s that we saw caught. And we were averaging a bigger fish. And what we were doing is we were fishing a hard spot in that area. So in other words, an area that was void of grass where current had been pushing out, and it actually created a ditch, just a travel area. Those big bass were hanging out in that area, and what they were doing is waiting for those gizzard shad to come to them. They weren't really keyed in on the thread fins. The little guys were on the thread fins, but when those gizzards would come through, that's when you'd see activity from the big fish. That's what they were waiting on. And that's why they were there. As you could see, we caught less fish the second day, and I think that had something to do with maybe the pressure of us fishing there for a long time the first day, because we did kind of sit on that spot. But I think a lot of it was also, I noticed that the shad started to pull out. The water level was actually dropping, so that I think those fish were moving out with those shad there, and it kind of messed us up a little bit. But going back to kind of what I talked about at the beginning of the video, we had that one fish Chris initially hooked just right off the bat there, and it was hooked right in the tongue. And that's oftentimes a death sentence to fish. I'm not really exactly sure why, but when you hook them right in the tongue like that, they just tend to kind of kill over. They'll lose color, lose a lot of blood, and they'll die on you. And so what you do is you immediately want to get them into some cool water. This video right here is actually going to jumpstart us into another one. We're going to talk a lot more in depth about fish care, because I see a lot of these tournaments around here, and there's just a lot of floating fish afterwards. It's a big topic of conversation right now. How can we do better, at conserving the fish that we're catching for these tournaments and things? So we're going to jump into that. But the main thing is cooler water. You want some water that's got ice in it. You want some additive in there. And one thing that I always add, especially if I have a fish that's hooked in the gills, the gut, or the tongue, is I want to have some Mountain Dew or some kind of soda right there with me. And the sugar in that drink, when you pour that into there, it'll actually kind of coagulate the blood of that fish, and a lot of times they'll stop bleeding so badly, and that gives them a chance to recover. One thing, though, that's extremely important in these summer conditions, a lot of guys are catching fish deeper. We were catching fish that were shallow. Most guys right now are catching fish, off of ledges. It's gotten into that complete summer deal now. There's fish that are deep, and when you pull them up from those depths like that, you have to learn how to fizz fish correctly, or you need to have those weights that you put on the fish in the live well so they can get upright, they can get that swim bladder functioning properly again, so you can actually release that fish and it'll be okay, because that's the main thing at the end of the day. If we're wanting to catch fish for a tournament and you're not wanting to take them home, make sure you release them in such a way that they have the best chance of making it and being out there for us to catch on another day. All right, just talking about the baits there, Chris actually was having some good success before we got there, catching some fish on swim baits and other moving baits. Now, we noticed a change, like I was talking about. We were on the back side of a pattern. We were on kind of the tail end of that shad spawn there. Those fish didn't want something moving. They were really keyed in on something dragged through extremely, painfully slowly through that key area. So that spot on a spot, we were dragging those baits through there, and it seemed like the slower the better, and those fish would bump it and pick it up. So there was kind of a congregation of fish moving in and out of that one particular area. So we just kind of camped on it and threw those drag baits. You noticed what I was throwing and what Chris was throwing most of the time. We probably should have thrown a Carolina rig at some point, but pretty much the deal was a stand-up shaky head, so like a mag shaky head. Either the one from Hog Farmer, he's got a mag hook in that, or MGC Custom Tackle. I was using their 1/2 ounce as well. So one of those mag, big style hook, big rod, because we're fishing for big, fish in there. Big line kind of deal, and then a large presentation or plastic on the end of that shaky head as well. I was using, it seemed like my deal was that Hagg's Tornado worm. It was an 8-inch, it's kind of like, I call it the fuzzy caterpillar worm or whatnot, but it's a really awesome presentation. That worm and a green pumpkin, and then Chris was throwing that Upton's Reaper a lot, and I ended up throwing it as well. The Upton's Reaper, you can get those at Hog Farmer, so talk to Scott over there, ordered off of his website. But that is an awesome bait, kind of the big beaver tail it's got on there. That thing draws some attention, and Chris actually got the big bite on day one, which I unfortunately didn't capture on GoPro. I don't know what happened. I think my footage got deleted, or the GoPro messed up at some point there. But another one was you saw day two. I kind of swapped out again. When you're beating to death one particular area like that, there's still fish there. Start rotating your baits. You can still do the same presentation. I was throwing that on a shaky head, but I was through a different worm. I went to that 12-inch Zoom Old Monster, changed up colors, and ended up pulling a few more bites on there. Now, I guess to address the final topic, we didn't weigh in either of those two big fish that we caught on the final day. I caught a 5'9". Chris caught one that he hooked in the tongue that was about 5 pounds. And we actually let go of several nice fish the first day as well. And I think the main thing for us, again, was just fish care. We wanted to make sure, the first day, we wanted to make sure those fish were taken care of inside that live well, and that we didn't have too many fish in the live well there. Now, the day two, we were more concerned about just not taking fish out of that area. It's kind of a backwater area. It's got resident fish in it, and we didn't want to pull any more fish out of there unless they were the right fish, unless they were that boat-winning fish. It didn't really matter to us so much the money as keeping that population strong in there so we can go in and catch those fish later. It's fish conservation. It's fish like the guys in the tournaments, they want to save fish for day to day. It's the same kind of deal. We wanted to make sure that area of the lake stayed healthy for us to go back and catch those fish later. But hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down there, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you ring the little bell for notifications. That'll tell you whenever I post a new video so you can actually take a look at it. I hope this week finds you out on the water, guys, and I'll catch you there.